And you know when you in those trades, sometimes your eyes keep want to look at the screen. What you gotta do is you gotta set that thing, you gotta forget it. Yeah. You gotta trust in that process. We got our 4 steps. We got our entries. We got our exits. So I need you guys on the same page. Yeah. All up in my bag, yeah, I'm setting it. In it for a buy, yeah, forgetting it. Kilo on strong, yeah, I'm repping it. Take profit on, yeah, but let it hit. Yeah, paid to wait, gotta take a breath. Not gonna look, cause it's straight debt. Turning off my phone, gotta eject. Yeah, taking all the cash, yeah, there's nothing left. Yeah, I'm on the mode. Yeah, chairman's a go. Yeah, stealing straight killers. Hey, these markets like gold. Yeah, we getting haters. They hate that we winning. Set it, got forget. Yeah, see these foreigns we renting. Set it, forget it. Set it, forget it. Set it, forget it. Set it, take profit. Set it, forget it. Set it, forget it. Set it, forget it. Set it, take profit. Set it, forget it. Set it, forget it. Set it, forget it. Yeah, take profit. Set it, forget it. Set it, forget it. Set it, forget it. Set it, take profit. Pippin', I'm pippin', no stopping me. Set it, forget it, a lot of green. Into my pockets, I'm profiting. This is a better way, gotta be. Riding in foreign, dollar speed. Louis and Gucci, got what I need. Wrists on froze, TP a breeze. Dealer, I bleed. This when I breathe. Wake up, place a trade in the AM. When I think hard, I just turn off the screen. If I ain't in profit yet, I gotta stop. Said, well, you know what I mean. Every little inch it moves, kinda change the mood, so I don't wanna see. Gotta set it and forget it till it hits TV. Set it, forget it. Set it, forget it. Set it, forget it. Set it, take profit. Set it, forget it. Set it, forget it. Set it, forget it. Set it, take profit. Set it, forget it. Set it, forget it. Set it, forget it. Yeah, take profit. Set it, forget it. Set it, forget it. Set it, forget it. Set it, take profit. We're an organization. We don't have nothing to prove.
Yes. What's going on, family? What is going on? Shout out to every single one of you guys that's rocking with us tonight, family. It is your boy Abel, and I'm super excited to be live with every single one of y'all for our weekly overview. I feel like it's gonna be a phenomenal week. This up and coming week, we have a lot of news on the horizon this up and coming week that can really mold, or at least give us an insight as to what the market's plan on doing. All right, it's been a very interesting past few weeks overall, but this week is definitely gonna be one of the most important ones, just because of the type of releases that we have coming out this week, family. Right, but before we even go ahead and get started into this, go ahead and drop those locations in the chat. Go ahead and drop those locations in the chat, family, one time. Go ahead and smash the like button as well. Let me know that you guys are here in the building with us. Smash that like button if you appreciate the call. Go ahead and send out this link as well to anybody that you know that needs to really have a deeper understanding of what's going on, family. All right, so we got New York City in the building. What's up? We got ATL in the house. Sacktown, USA. What is going on? Trinidad and Tobago, Houston. I see y'all. Shout out to you guys all that are rocking with us tonight. So we got Malden, South Carolina with us tonight as well. What is going on, family? Super excited to be here with you guys all once again. And let's go ahead and get right into this. Not going to waste too much more of your time. Right? It is myself and the boy Skaggs with you guys tonight. And what we're going to do is obviously do what we always do every single Sunday, and that's come live here on YouTube, right? And provide you guys with a lot of value, a lot of game, a lot of insight as to what we believe the markets is going to do from a fundamental, from a sentimental, and from a technical perspective, right? We don't just leave, we utilize every form of analysis to really come up with the highest probability setups. And that is what we plan on doing for you guys again tonight, which we've been doing pretty consistently now, right? So if you guys are excited, family, for this up and coming week, if you guys truly believe this up and coming week you're going to get to the bag, then go ahead and drop a 3 in the chat real quick, man. Go ahead and drop a number 3 in the chat real quick, family. Right? Because I don't know. I feel like it's going to be an absolutely phenomenal week this week, man. I see we got San Diego in the building. New Mexico. What's up, Baltimore? I see you, Tony. What's going on, Tony? Good to see you in the chat, my brother. Appreciate you. All right, yeah, guys. It's going to be a phenomenal week this week. I can truly feel it. If you guys truly believe that it's going to be a great week, also go ahead and smash that like button, family. Let's go ahead and get the video to 100 likes, right? As we go ahead and continue to get more people in here. Let's really go ahead and get to 100 likes by the end of this stream. That is the goal for today. All right, 100 likes. It is free to like the video, but it does help us out tremendously, family. And I appreciate every single one of you guys that do go ahead and do that one thing for us. Right, but besides that, man, I know we got the boy Skaggs in the building. My brother, how are you feeling, bro? You feeling good over there, bro?
Yes, sir. What's going on, family? Good to be here with you guys on this Sunday evening. Yeah, man, I'm ready for a good week. Like you said, lots of news, should be lots of volatility. We just came off the back of a crazy week as well. So, yeah, man, you already know I'm excited. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get this thing popping.
Oh yeah. Perfect. Well, family, let's go ahead and get right into this. I want to go over the news really quickly so we are aware of what events are happening this week. And then we'll get into the technicals and see if there's anything that we're excited for going into this week, man. So let's go ahead and get into this. So for today, there's nothing for today. I mean, there is a member of the Australian Reserve Bank that's going to be speaking. And I'm always very careful, guys, whenever there's any type of member of any central bank, whenever they are opening their mouth, they have the ability to move the markets, right? So always just want to be mindful of that. But, you know, it is what it is, right? But going into tomorrow, we do have some PPI data for the euro. We also have President Lagarde that's going to be speaking. Again, that is the president of the European Central Bank, right? A big deal, family, right? Well, again, when they open their mouth, they have the ability to move price, so we always want to just be mindful of that. Then tomorrow as well, which is very interesting, at 5:30, right? They actually have this reserve balances with the Federal Reserve banks, which is going to be interesting to see what that comes out as, because I don't know if you guys have been aware, but for the past year and a half, we've been in the process of quantitative tightening, right? QT. We've been in the process of doing QT, quantitative tightening, which pretty much reduces the amount of dollars that are in circulation, right? That's the whole concept behind that. But most recently, even though we're still in the process of QT, recently over the past week, you know, the Fed actually decided to go the opposite way in QE, right? And they actually started to quantitative ease by going ahead and adding $300 billion to the balance sheet, right? So I know a lot of people are going to be paying attention to that to see exactly what their plan is, or what if they plan on continuously, you know, adding more to the balance sheet, or at least going through the process of QE, you know, because if we are in the process of quantitative easing, right, then we might have to look at this market in a completely different light than how we're looking at it when we're thinking that they're still going to be tightening, right? Because those are two different scenarios, guys, that we have to utilize. And we're going to approach the market completely different ways depending on if they are doing QE or if they are doing QT, right? The markets are going to react differently to all of this data, right? Okay, so there's something to just be mindful of. I mean, for those of you guys that are really not into fundamentals, it's not that serious. I'm just going to pay attention to it because I want to see pretty much what the heck is going on over there, right? But besides that, we do have some meeting minutes for the Australian dollar. That's going to be, you know, something that can influence the markets. And going into Tuesday, you know, we have some core CPI for the Canadian dollar. We have some, what else we got? We got existing home sales for the US dollar. All right, so on Tuesday, I believe just maybe the Canadian dollar itself is going to be the one that we could potentially take advantage of just because volatility, you know, especially with core CPI numbers getting released. Then they also have President Lagarde going to be speaking once again. And then going into Wednesday, family, this is really going to be the day that I'm truly going to be focused on more than anything. All right, it's definitely going to be on Wednesday, just because Wednesday we have a lot, right? We also do have CPI for the pound. You know, we have more central bank figures that are going to be testifying, that are going to be speaking. You know, but what we have is also our Fed interest rate decision, right? As of right now, they are expecting, or they're projecting, to actually raise rates by 25 basis points all the way up to 5%. Right now, that is a very big jump, guys, from pretty much a year and a half ago, interest rates being at zero, to now it being at 5% in such a short amount of time is a big reason why the banking system itself is going through what it's going through. All right, interest rates went up way too high, which made yield bonds go way too high, which pretty much made those banks, or at least the specific banks that went down, pretty much made them underwater per se, right, under those investments that they had. So yeah, that's very interesting to see, guys, what they do end up doing. Now, there is a potential, right? And actually, this is something I wanted to speak with Skaggs about as well, right? There is potential. I don't know if they'll do it this interest rate hike, but there is a potential now for them to actually pause hikes or pause rate hikes, right? And it has to do with them just, again, not breaking nothing else, right? They were going to continue to raise interest rates to try to fight inflation until something broke, right? And now we're starting to see something break with the whole banking sector, or at least a few major banks over there having some issues. Now, they do not want that to continue to happen, right? So there is a potential for them to eventually pause rates very, very soon. A lot sooner than I was expecting. Right, but Skaggs, bro, I want to know your thoughts and your opinions on the interest rate decision this week, and your thoughts on if they're going to continue to stay on that 25 basis point rate hike for the next few months, or you think there's maybe just one or two left. What are your thoughts on this, bro?
To be honest, I don't think my thoughts are that much different than they've been in the past. I think the circumstances of which we're stopping are certainly not what I was, discussing. Obviously, I wasn't mentioning bank failures or anything, but I don't know. I have talked about it again as we approach this 5%, that there's like less room to continue hiking. And like you just said, with the failure of some of these, and just like, again, the general market consensus is that, okay, maybe we've, maybe not tightened too much, but possibly tightened too quick. And maybe that does warrant a little bit of a pause here. So, yeah, I think ultimately we probably go to the 5%. I don't see why they wouldn't go to the 5%. That's probably been set in stone, that decision. So I'm kind of in alignment with you. I think that we get the 25 basis point here. I think the probability that they do mention a pause coming, I think that's a pretty high chance. I will say, though, that I don't know, no, judging off their targets, I feel like they have two more 25s. I feel like we'll get it this time, we'll get it next time, and then they'll pause. So we'll probably pause at like 5.25. But I wouldn't be against them pausing next either. I just personally I think we go to like 5.25, would do two more 25 basis points, then we pause. Because again, like the little bailout, like the little printing they've done now, 300 billion added to the balance sheet and stuff like that. Is it? I feel like more has to happen. I feel like something else has to fail that really like pushes them to like actually pause. With the way that they tightened, with the way that we got here, again, pretty aggressively, pretty quick. I would say, with the little banks that have failed, I would say that's kind of expected. I feel like that was part of like the risk that they were taking when they did that. So yeah, I think more needs to happen for them to pause. So I would probably bet on 225s and then a pause. The whole point though here, family, is like really it doesn't matter which way they go, right? Whether they do 25 now and then pause, or they do 225s and they pause, or they just pause now, right? What's the common denominator there? Right, the common denominator is that the probability that they pause is the greatest possible probability. So just keep playing that. Like there's, even if you thought they were going to do 225s, that doesn't like give the US dollar a bunch of strength. It just draws out how long it's going to take, the bulls to kind of get what they want to get. So I think the entire point is like, who cares when they do it? It's just more probable that they do pause in general. So I continue to play that bias. It's something that I've been talking about for a long time. Again, I think we're near the end of the road here. And I think pause, I think I don't have this debate with you too, bro. Like, do you think this is going to be a pause, or do you think this is going to be a pivot? Because remember, these are two different things. Pauses mean that, we're going to stop to eventually continue to go higher. And then a pivot would be like, we're going to pause, but the next time they make a change, it's not going to be a positive change. It's going to be a negative change.
Yeah,
So what's your thoughts on that?
That is a valid point, because that is a big difference from a pause and a pivot, right? A pivot is when they're actually completely pivoting from interest rates going up, and they're actually more so dovish now and making interest rates go down. I don't think they're gonna be there just yet, right? I don't see a pivot happening for some time, right? Probably not even. It won't even be on the chopping block until we see inflation start to come back down a lot more. But a pause, that is very possible, right? Like they could literally start that. Honestly, I don't think they're gonna do it this interest rate decision this week. But I wouldn't be surprised if they like kind of like shock the market and just completely paused it this up and coming week as well. But I don't think they're gonna do that. But I can't rule it off the table no more neither, right? Just because of how everything has been overall just been playing out, right? So it's gonna be interesting to see though. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
I think I'm with you too. It's probably gonna be more of a pause. A pivot would be again like the inflation numbers are still too high for that.
Yeah, way too
And to
high.
be quite honest with you, as a macro bull on things like crypto and stocks and foreign currencies, right? Because again, I've leaned off the whole dollar buy bias. As a lot of you know, if you guys have been here. If not, you'll get to know. But yeah, even I think that eventually they'll have to continue or at least do something to kind of continue to combat it because they are printing more money in dealing with all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, exciting week though, for sure.
That's a fact, right? So yeah, Wednesday's gonna be pretty lit, family, with the interest rate decision and the press conference to follow. We're big fans of actually being live during the press conference, just because we're able to get some insight as to what their plans actually are moving forward. All right, so we'll be probably live for this as well. Then going into Thursday, we have some more interest rates decisions. We do have it for the Swiss franc. We have interest rate decision for the Great Britain pound over there at the Bank of England, right? So we have a lot of big news coming up, guys, with CPI data coming out for various coins, various projects. I'm over here thinking that we're talking about cryptocurrency, right? But we have CPI coming out for various currencies, various economies. We have interest rate decisions for the U.S., the Swiss franc, and the Great Britain pound, right? All those central banks all have interest rate decisions. So man, it's gonna be a very interesting, a very very interesting one, guys. Right? So definitely be ready for that. We will obviously be keeping everybody up to date with any news event that we feel like is important with y'all. We will go live to also watch the news events come out live in real time with you guys here on YouTube. So that's gonna be super fun as well. But overall, it's gonna be a volatile week, but I think it's gonna be a very eventful one that we can go ahead and take advantage of overall. Right, so that's pretty much just our news for the week, guys. Let's go ahead and get straight into the markets as a whole and see what has been going on, man. The dollar itself has been extremely, extremely interesting to say the least. Overall, guys, though, I know this is one thing that me and Skaggs differ on right now, where I'm still very much bullish long-term, the dollar, where he's very much bearish long-term, the dollar, right? Which is very interesting, but that's more so from a macro perspective. From a more now perspective, I'm pretty sure that we're both in alignment as to what we believe can actually happen, right? So let's just go ahead and get into this, guys. So overall, the dollar itself right here on the daily time frame, there's a few levels that I'm actually looking at, right? And I completely erased my chart just because I want you guys to really see at least where I'm coming from when I look at the market a certain way, right? So we had this low right here that was just taken out, all right? Ended up grabbing some liquidity. And then the market gave us a nice strong move to the upside, right? That did end up breaking various little internal levels of structure. Ever since then, we have been waiting for the market to come back and retest below this 102,500 level. And I still think that this is still very much valid to be on the table as well, right? Is this 105 or this 102,500 level. So I'm still leaning towards the market bringing us down into that point, all right? So I might be overall starting the week off bearish just so that we could see price continue to go lower. We had a very interesting week last week, with the market pretty much rebounding, from this level of structure right here that was ended up breaking, but price ended up coming down to this level here at 103,600. We ended up rebounding pretty nicely, but the most important thing that I'm looking at, and I'll show you guys when we get to lower time frame, is that we are starting to see market structure shifting. All right, so let me show you guys what I mean by this, right? You can see right here the market has created this higher low, right? This high, and then we had this little higher low point, All right, and then ever since then, we had this big area of demand that was left behind, and the market did not care about that demand whatsoever. In fact, we ended up running that demand, right? So that is usually a big sign for me, guys, right? Whenever we see an area of supply and demand, gets destroyed or gets broken, gets violated, I usually look at that as a sign of, the market overall shifting momentum, shifting bias. So I really like, what we're seeing here. And I do think for the most part, now, we could see the market maybe spike up one more time. But overall, I'm going to be expecting some downside from these levels coming up this week. Again, I would be interested maybe around, this 104,600 level, right? Maybe if price can go ahead and maybe spike up and then give us an opportunity to then go ahead and go short on, maybe from this entire area up here, right? This little liquidity pocket that we have up here. All right, so that's pretty much what I'm gonna be looking for going into this week. All right, a possible strength to start the week, get us up into this level one way or another, and then I'll be looking for some opportunities to go ahead and go short the dollar overall. All right, so that's just my general bias for the dollar as a whole. All right, now Skaggs, bro, what is your outlook for the dollar? And then we can get into obviously a bunch of the pairs. Once we come up with some type of consensus here for the U.S. dollar, like what is your thoughts and opinions on this bad boy right now?
Yeah, so here, let me share my screen real quick. I mean, it's pretty much the same, give or take. So this is what we went over last week. Again, kind of just forecasting out. If you guys were not here, basically, like Abel said, I am a little bit more macro bearish, than he might be. Again, I'm kind of forecasting over the course of like a year and a half, 2 years. Obviously, this is what we currently have drawn out. We believe this is something called redistribution, which basically just means the market is going to work itself out in a way where supply overtakes demand. We see lower levels on the dollar. We did discuss this last week. Basically, what we were looking at is the fact that, we got some highs that were taken over here, which is whatever little check mark means. And we basically aggressively fell after having this nice little push up. So you push up, you sweep liquidity, you fall kind of down. And now we're kind of in this point again where you have this really strong move. And I'm going to just really quickly kind of just hide this stuff so it's just not in the way. All right. But we have this like recent move here on Thursday where we kind of just seen like a lot of dollar strength come in, driven through news, and it just couldn't sustain itself, right? We don't have volume here, but I'm sure, high volume move just based off the momentum. And again, we're erasing this very easily. So kind of just like this move, once this stuff kind of gets erased, I only expect it to dip a little bit more. So I do see more downside on the dollar this week. Again, still ultimately looking at like these lower 102 levels to kind of get taken out. Now, am I with you with the idea that, maybe we do, let me just now, since I'm drawing new stuff here, do we maybe, bounce from this level again to kind of come up before we go down? Yeah, possibly. I think it's more logical though that we kind of just slip this first and then kind of recover. Again, same thing that like happened here, like you slip below, get a little bit of a bounce, and then you can continue short. So maybe we'll look at that. To be honest, I'm probably not going to look to trade that. I'm probably going to keep the early part of my week pretty in tune with last week. When we get into some foreign currency pairs, you guys will see the positions that I'm already in. I'm just going to continue to hold that stuff, expect momentum to continue, and then see what comes off this 102 level. But yeah, in the grand scheme of things, I'm still going to follow this roadmap. This roadmap's been working since last week, and when my idea is working, I just continue to let it work until I have reason to believe that it won't. So yeah, this is the roadmap until further notice, really. Yeah, there's no reason for me to deviate. I draw my little squiggles here, and as long as they're working, it's working.
Yeah, yeah, nah, I like that. And that's what I was saying. Like, overall, from a bigger perspective, we have different outlooks, but that doesn't change the fact that what we're looking at right now is usually very similar, for at least what we expect more intraday, intra-week.
Yeah, I think we deviate more of what happens after like this happens.
Yeah,
Like we both kind of again, it all depends, family. Who knows? By Wednesday, I could be saying completely different things because again, my bias is always off the most recent of information. So what I say now and what I might say in a day and a half are could slightly vary.
No, that's for sure. I mean, if you have anything else, bro, go ahead and analyze it.
I mean, I have some updates from trades that I gave last Sunday. So last Sunday we talked about gold, and I really hope people took advantage of gold because gold was a beautiful trade last week. This is what I'm in terms of like the most recent entries. But these red arrows over here, what we discussed literally last Sunday, and you guys can go back on the channel and kind of, see about them. And we were looking at the longer picture of gold. Again, we were talking about how it's probably just going to keep compressing or continuing, its trend to the upside. And again, this is kind of like what I told you guys. It's going to just, range inside of here. Ideally, didn't get exactly where I wanted to, but if you go back to that Sunday's call, you'll see kind of what we talked about there. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful trends on gold. That's what we're currently in. If you guys were on last Sunday's call, again, a lot of this stuff is at the point where, like gold here is broken above the highs of like 1960. Ultimately, am I still bullish on this thing? Yeah. I'm still looking for fresh all-time highs on this thing. This thing I still expect it to skyrocket. That being said, though, with this week, like I just showed you guys on the DXY, all I could really expect out of this is continuations. And this is going to be the case on most things. It's like I'm not going to look to specifically sell from up here just because we're at like a new high. Like, yeah, is there some resistance up here? Is there some supply? Is there going to be like liquidity sweeps? Yeah, but until I see like actual reason to go short or close my positions, I'm just not going to. Because again, there's still so much further upside potential on my positions. But I wouldn't execute off of anything, right? I'm not really going to be a buyer up here. I'm not really going to be a seller yet. This is why I tell you guys I'm going to wait until the middle of the week post news to see, okay, do I just continue holding my stuff in my direction and continue to get paid? Or is it time to maybe look to the other way, maybe hedge some of my position or just close all of it out and start to go short? Because this move is very parabolic, right? It is very much straight up. It is the type of thing that once it has a fundamental reason to correct, it should correct pretty quickly, and then have to work itself out. So, yeah, I'm not really interested in touching these. These are just trades that we have running. EU is the same thing. Again, this is to be honest with you guys, on EU, there's a few things I'm looking at. To be honest with you, I don't really trust this move on EU. I actually have been looking for reasons to maybe go short. My trades on EU have hit take profit. I will say, for people that are looking to sell EU, I mean, early week. Yeah, if this rallies one more time, I could see why people would want to go like short up above like here. This is kind of like the idea I was looking at is maybe even on gold if gold pops too and just hits some of the extreme supply. There are reasons to think that like maybe something like this would hold. Because I gotta be honest, I don't trust, this wick or really even these lows. I know I have some like obviously I have a buy from here and I also have a buy from here. I don't specifically trust these. The only reason I continue to hold is again because of the possibility that the Fed, mentions a pause and it just kind of, spikes up and invalidates the sell idea. But yeah, this is the only thing I'm really looking at on EU is like maybe a reaction off the 107.5 once all the early kind of sellers kind of get wrecked. Because I'm sure there's people looking at sells. I'm sure there's people looking at the supply zone here, right? I would even look at it. This is where even my TP was. But there's been no reaction and we kind of gapped up. So that tells me the market's probably going to continue. So if all of these are like if there are a bunch of people that are early selling in this area, especially with all of this inefficiency and a little liquidity pocket that lives above here, I could see this thing very easily kind of getting squeezed and then just forming smaller and smaller ranges until she pops up and then very easily, does something like this and kind of just takes out all these people that kind of been riding this little choppier range. Pretty common pattern to happen, especially when you have, bigger news. So like this is a setup that I would be looking at this week. Again, I would need very specific things to happen up here at 107.50. If you guys are a part of the premium, if you probably see us live trading that. If it's happening during a news event when we're here on YouTube, again, you guys will also see that as well. But yeah, I'm going to be watching this 107.50 for like, some sort of 10, 15 pip potential sell just to capitalize on some of the stuff that I don't trust over here. But yeah, aside from that, man, there's really nothing else I'm really looking at. GJ,
Yeah, that's
I'm still bearish on GJ macro, but
yeah, that's what I'm looking at now too. GJ, seeing what I can see.
did you see some of the headlines surrounding the Bank of Japan?
I have, if they just came out, I have not.
I think they're pretty recent.
I'm pretty sure I have. Let me
Where
see.
were they? Let me see if I can pull them up. Yeah, there's one here. There's one on Bloomberg and there's one on investing.com.
What are they talking about?
Basically, they're just kind of mixed. Some of the members think they're kind of just readdressing the whether or not they should continue their quantitative easing, which again has been a debate between us on whether or not they have, room to continue this or, if there is potential talks to maybe leave that negative rate territory. All I know is that the rumor mill continues to churn. Right, the more little headlines I see like that, the more little confidence I get in my yen pair shorts. But there has been talks inside of the Bank of Japan family, just to give you guys an update on that, about potential reasons to leave the negative rate territory, what that would look like, whether or not they have room to continue easing. Again, they believe that they need to continue doing this QE, this quantitative easing, to get their inflation back down to 2%. I don't fundamentally understand how that works, but that's what they believe. So if they continue doing that, then so be it. I think their inflation will continue to go up. I don't think they have inflation numbers coming up. I think we're still like 2-3 weeks out from that. But yeah, as it continues to get towards like 4 or 5% and up towards whatever it is here in the U.S., I think it'll be more and more headlines that surround the Bank of Japan. And again, these debates that are happening, because now that they're having the discussions, leads me to believe that again in the long term that a lot of these yen pairs will see much lower pricing. Again, I still play off the idea that the highs at 172 are the highs, and more recently that the highs at 165, 167 area were the retest to like this distribution. So I do foresee this again continuing to spill out. So I know we have a little bit different opinions on this, but again, the rumor mill continues to churn, right, and kind of churn in the favor of a stronger yen. But yeah, there's just been a few headlines, bro. Just wasn't sure if you were keeping up with it.
Yeah, no, I haven't looked into those ones just yet. But I did just come across a very interesting article here. It doesn't have to do with the Japanese yen, but it has to do with what the Fed is actually doing now. How they just announced coordinated daily U.S. dollar swap lines to ease the banking crisis. Have you seen those headlines?
Yeah, I think somebody also shared that in the Discord. Let me get who shared that. I think it was, yeah, Winston and then Bauman as well. So yeah, several major banks announced coordinated action to increase U.S. dollar liquidity provision through swap lines, which was the Federal Reserve, the Bank of Canada, Bank of England, Bank of Japan, Swiss National Bank, and the ECB, the European Central Bank. Um, yeah, again, not surprised. It's just more stuff that's happening because of the fact that we tightened too quick, you know?
That's what I'm saying. Like they're that's gonna be interesting, bro, because that could really change up how I do or how I look at a lot of these currencies for sure.
Yeah, and the thing is too, the yen has seemingly took back its safe haven status, which is I think the most important thing for me. Not even in just like not even just in my yen bias, but just in the general like consensus of the market. Like when all the safe havens are flowing together, there's like actual fear in the market, right? So like when you see gold flying, the yen pairs gaining in favor of the yen, that is, right? So GJ down, UJ down, EJ down for the people that are new. And you also see things like the crypto markets flying and stuff like that again. And some people debate whether or not crypto is a safe haven, but at this point, I think it's pretty obvious that it flows with safe havens. But yeah, I think when you see stuff like that, again, it is a telling sign that even the bigger entities see what they've done.
Nah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
It might also fuel your bias though. Because again, if their solution here is to print more money to get them out of it, it will keep inflation high. And it just puts them back in that hard spot. It's like, okay, well, you tried to fix the problem by adding gas to the fire.
Mm-hmm. It's the arsonist trying to be the firefighter to now trying to be the arsonist again.
Yeah. They're in a tough spot, bro. They can't. That's their job. Eric says that spring reformed is still questionable. Are you talking about on GJ? This is not a spring. This is not a spring. It depends on how you view this. You either view this, so it depends on what you view the accumulation as. If you view this as the accumulation, then like yeah, I can see why you would think that's a spring. The problem with this though is that the reality is that what you're probably looking at is like a larger range. So it's like this is probably the entire range. So it's like this is probably like your I'm not gonna put text, but for the white golf people, you're probably looking at like your PSY, your selling climax, your ST phase B, and you're probably still looking at like a future spring. So it's yeah, when you only have so much data and you're only looking at like the smaller range here, then yeah, you could probably say like, oh, this is a spring. And in the moment, like it reacts nice because it gives you that swing back to like the extreme of the range. So it's not a bad play, it's a beautiful play. But like as time develops, like at this point, you shouldn't be looking at that anymore. Now you should be like, okay, maybe that wasn't a spring and we still need to do some stuff on like the higher time frame. And even if I come out here, like I would just build the case that like probably gonna take out like these lows. You still have the liquidity all the way down. Like there's a lot more stuff to be captured. So to think that's the spring, I think is really premature. And to be honest, looking at it as a spring, you might even be forcing it because this might just be like a sign of weakness phase B, and you might just do something like this where you create like an upthrust and then you just redistribution. So you might even be looking the wrong way, like just because of your bias, because that's what I would see. But yeah, just a little sauce for you, Eric, while you on the call, bro.
Um, I think I like his bias. I'm not even gonna lie.
I
Eric,
mean, the GJ Bulls are gonna be the GJ Bulls. That's
I mean, Eric know what he's talking about, man.
yeah. No, I mean, no. Eric's very good at what he does. I don't question it at all. He's just a GJ Bull like you, and I'm just a GJ bear in a lonely world. It's okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm interested to see how we play out for GJ this week. I have a few different areas that I'm gonna be looking at personally. Let me take the screen share back to see how the market does play out. So I'm gonna be looking at. Uh, I'm very interested because I'm still very much a bull myself, but these past couple weeks, man, have definitely been very interesting to say the least. Yeah, I don't know. Like I want to try to force a buy, but I don't even see it. Like if I were to buy, I would have to do it probably on these wicks right here. Like I would need to see the market possibly come all the way back down towards this 158 300 level, and then give us an opportunity to go ahead and bounce back up. It's like the only thing that I see will make the most sense here on GJ. For anybody that is looking for like a long position like I am, like I want to find a nice long-term buy setup, right? But I just don't feel comfortable with looking at it from those levels, right? So I'll have to wait for price to come back down to this zone down here, and hopefully somewhere in this demand zone, we can continue to hold and make our way back to the upside. That's what I'm gonna be personally looking to play. And now, is there anything from a short opportunity, like a sell side opportunity? Maybe if we come see how the market reacts up here, right? We do have this level of structure all up and through here, right? So maybe how we, play off of here, right? If we're able to spike above this level, that could, give us an opportunity to go ahead and go short, right? I mean, there's a few different things that we could play here, right? So I'm not going to force anything, but I'm just going to keep on monitoring the markets, see what direction the market decides to go to first. Like if we pop up here, then there could be an opportunity for us to go ahead and short, right? Or if the market just drops, then that's fine, all right? Because then there could be an opportunity for us to go ahead and grab some buys, right? So I'm on the sidelines for GJ to start the week just because of where we're at, but I'm definitely going to be looking to position myself for a long-term play if the market shows me what I want to see, all right? But where price is currently at, I really don't have no interest in. I really don't have no interest in it whatsoever, right there.
To be honest, I might even try something off like 161.85 if like that, like, cause I'm probably gonna be up pretty late tonight since tomorrow's Monday, so I'll probably look at like 161.85, and that would probably be
161,
like where I'd want to go short tonight if I could get that.
161. So right up here, these highs.
Yeah, fill that little wick right above that little 15-minute wick into that candle. That'd be like the only spot I'd want to maybe try. I mean, the only other spot that's like really appealing and honestly probably the better choice, because the 161.85 is like the one that I'd want to try, and it's probably the one that wouldn't work. So I think it's either that or it's 162.62.
Yeah, I think I'd rather try the one. I like the
Yeah, the
162 700.
162. Yeah, like right up there. Yeah, I don't know why your chart looks different because that's basically the same thing I have marked. But mine says 162.62. I think
Yeah,
it's just because the market's very volatile. I think the slight difference is, yeah, okay, that's what it is. You're at the top of the candle. I have that. Okay.
yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, see, this is where I would really be interested. Like if we were to swipe
Yeah,
up here, sheesh. Yeah,
I'm trying to
I would.
justify just missing it because honestly, the what it did just now is honestly pretty nice too because it took above that little structure. Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
probably because I had been looking at shorts and I was like, let me see if this doesn't work, where's the next best spot? I think I'm gonna actually change it to that 162.62.
Yeah, that's where I'm
So
at.
yeah, don't be surprised, family. If you guys are in the Discord, I'm probably gonna end up sending that at some point tonight, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, maybe if that's when it happens. If not, I'll wait till later in the week. If it continues to just sink, I'm not gonna chase it or anything weird like that.
Yeah, nah, I'll definitely be taking this as well if it comes up here.
Yeah, I'm gonna run my stop a little wider than that because I'm not trying to. But yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the best trades you could look at right now.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. We shall see. Shoot, I don't mind taking that sell to get me down into where I want to look for some buys. That'll be nice.
Michael Bamman says, "I'd like to see my idea pan out. Sell off through 140, then possibly buy up through 175." Yeah, I mean, like again, those are giant swings, bro. Like, understand if that's your analysis. I mean, not you've been here for years as it is, but understand it's gonna take a while for like an idea like that to play
Yeah,
out.
that's like 5 years.
Yeah, I'm like
to be
I'm with
honest.
you, bro. Like I see the same thing. Like I want 149 to get taken out, and then pending what the volume looks like on that, maybe even possibly way lower. Like I'm looking at like 124. But again, this is, most people that are on this stream are just not going to be around even when that happens. So there's beyond talking about 175 is, I don't know, definitely after 149. But again, playing the macro like that, you just have to understand, like, usually when you're analyzing the macro and you're looking at like, oh, I think something's gonna fall, 1,000 pips. You don't want to analyze the down move and then like the buy afterwards. You just want to analyze the one giant macro move that you see coming. Don't forecast too much. Like I don't have targets past 149. Like 149 has to happen before I think of even any sort of possibility of what happens next. Same thing with like things like crypto. It's like, yeah, do I think Bitcoin's gonna go, above 100K? Sure, but that's super macro. That's not even in the next like 2 years type thing. So it's like I focus on it coming and taking, recent levels like 28K, 30K, so on and so forth. So yeah, but be careful projecting too far.
Yeah.
Only because you're gonna get stuck in this idea that like, again, that's gonna take forever. It's gonna take a year and a half, 2 years. Speaking of crypto, though, Abel, what do you think, bro? How you feeling about the market?
I'm feeling great. Like I can. I mean, Listen, man, I've been feeling phenomenal about how it's been going, but I've also been in.
Would you say that she's resilient?
She's extremely resilient, but I do gotta have a disclaimer. All right, like she's doing exactly what we've been saying she was gonna do. Like, I mean, just a few weeks ago, people were crying when it was down here, and I'm like, watch how resilient she is. Now she's up 40%. All right, so it's beautiful. Beautiful times to be alive. Matter of fact, I think it's beautiful time to be educated is probably something that I really want to continue to stress it. All right, because we've been able to, like, I don't know how, but we've been able to really call out the play by play on crypto for the past few years consistently, accurately. All right, and it's been amazing to see, man. So I don't know. I don't know. How are you feeling about crypto? I know you're excited too, but I also see a bigger correction coming soon. I would say maybe all the way back down to around 20K or so. But I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm just glad we broke above 28,000.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Um, Again, like, it's stuff we've been talking about. This is why
Right.
I've been saying DCA, DCA, DCA. Every single day. I'm just happy and grateful to have more in my ledger, in my wallet. Um,
Every week. Buy every week.
yeah, every week. I will say though, again, family. So like, as with everything, there's always, you know, cheap and premium pricing. If you are starting to accumulate now, you are a little bit on the premium side. Is it still great pricing? Yes. But I will say, like, over the next year, year and a half, again, we're still, the halving isn't until May of 2024. I will say, you guys will continue to probably see lower pricing than what you're looking at right now. Um, it's just logical. I would even say a retest completely below where we made that low of 20K, where it was that line,
Yep.
is super logical.
Yep.
Because now what's happening, and especially with the news that this is like rallying off of the fact that everyone's like, oh, the banks are failing, oh, and everyone's pouring into Bitcoin. It's a very dumb money move. Like I don't think a lot of this like movement that you see here is necessarily gonna be like so strong that we don't come back. In fact, it's so strong that it's only logical that you come back, to be kind of quite honest. Because right now, a lot of people are buying in at fresh highs. There's a lot of greed in the market, right? A lot of hype, up 40%. Like all these things are great. And like as a long-term buyer, like I love it. Don't get me wrong. Because again, we've been calling for this. But like this would not be the area where I'm like, adding anything out of my normal daily accumulation of it, which is for me about what I spend on food per day. So like when people ask like how much do you buy every day, it's like whatever your average that you spend on food, that's probably what you should spend on invest. That's how I do it. Again, is that smart? Is it not? Who knows? Who cares? That's the way I do it. It's just end of story. Every day I buy X amount of money based off how much I spend on food. That's how I justify it. But I'm not going to be putting like large lump sums in here, like freaking out, because I understand. Yeah, it'll probably come back under 24K. That's my expectation. Probably does come back under 24. I wouldn't even be surprised to see 18, 17. I would love that. Yeah, exactly what they withdraw. Like that's what we want.
That's more
Now,
logical, you ask me.
yeah, that's probably the most logical thing. You want to always get wiping out the little hype candle. Um, does that mean that we fall directly from here? No, maybe we do go to 32, 34. Maybe even all the way up to like 37, 38 if the market wants to get really, really hype, especially with like a pause in rate and stuff. That's great. Again, it's perfect. I'm not going to complain about it, but again, in the macro of looking at it before the halving, yeah, we probably more than likely come and retest these pricing. So
Yeah.
again, continue just your basic DCAing strategy. Don't start. This isn't like bull run mania where you should, be looking to just put all the extra money you have into something. It's like again, the return on investment here is still going to be over a year, year and a half out if you're looking for the halving type gains.
Yeah.
This is all stuff we're going to go into great depth with when we talk about, stuff on the crypto bootcamp that we're doing, which is
Mm-hmm.
April 17th. 10 days of just pure raw education. So you guys can literally just analyze and find coins and, I mean, quite literally have the knowledge you need for like 80 to 90% of the crypto sectors. I mean, there's always new stuff popping up, so I can't ever say I can cover 100% of it and just be impossible to do that in just 10 days. But nonetheless, 75 to 80% of the stuff that you need to know is going to be covered in that boot camp. So, yeah, just understand, family. Don't feel pressured into buying stuff. Keep it slow, keep it steady, keep it consistent, keep it disciplined. And yeah, man, I just love to see the reactions that we had. But I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't tell you guys that obviously to expect somewhat lower pricing over the next couple months.
No, that's a fact. That is a great point. Now, keep in mind, family, again, there's a vast difference between trading and investing, right? Please, you have to understand the difference. So, this cryptocurrency bootcamp that we're hosting April 17th is going to be obviously teaching you guys from an investor standpoint, right? Everything is going to be more so from a macro outlook, where we expect these cryptos to be at in the next 5, 10, 15 years, because that's how you should be looking at these cryptos anyways, right? From an investor standpoint, from a longevity standpoint. Like, think about being like, I know you guys probably heard this before, but like, think about actually investing into Facebook at the beginning, at the ground level, right? Think about investing into Microsoft at ground level, Amazon at ground level. All right, like, I know you guys probably hear this so often, but with the crypto space and a lot of these cryptocurrency projects, that's exactly what we're able to do now, because the space is so new. Like, it is so new. It's still in its infant stage. So we are able to get in at the ground level for a lot of these great projects that are now on the coming up. So, again, 5 to 10 years from now, you guys are going to be thankful that you guys got educated on the crypto space, the crypto market, and every single sector that makes up the crypto market. There's a lot of different sectors of the crypto space itself. So definitely big sure to be there, man, because it's going to be crazy, family, this boot camp that we're hosting. A 10-day boot camp? 10-day? It's nuts.
Yeah, it's literally watching us create, basically what is an entire course live. There's some good questions in the chat though. Somebody said my average price is 20K. Do I hold or sell and rebuy? So, I mean, obviously, I can't give you direct advice on what to do with your stuff, but some things that you should consider is if you are one, it depends on how much money you have, right? Because if you do sell to just rebuy, one, how much better of a price are you really going to get, right? Like realistically, how much extra coin are you really going to get if you do that versus just going out and hustling harder and just, stacking more cash to buy when it does dip. Two, what are the tax implications of that? All right, are you gonna have to back capital gains on that, and is that gonna drain all the profit at the end anyway? And then two, are you sure you're gonna be available to rebuy when you can? Right, because even if you look at this recent dip when it went under 20K, it only spent so long down there. So sometimes you do get a day where it's at 23 and it flashes to like 18, but it closes the day back at like 21, and it's like you really only had like a 2 hour window, 4 hour window, 8 hour window to like execute, and it's like again, like you run risks like that when like your investments. I always tell people you don't day trade your investments. You don't sit here and buy and sell and it no, like it's meant to sit there and be long term. If you haven't been holding it for over a year, you don't qualify for long term capital gains tax. So it's like these are things that you have to consider. Again, you don't day trade your bag. You'll drop your bag like that. You'll mess up your bag. You'll just create issues inside your bag for no reason. If you really feel like there is going to be a dip that's worth capitalizing off of, then just, take like an option trade or, like a CFD trade or something. There'd be no reason to fumble your investment bag because of something like that. You just prepare yourself, understand, okay, I'm gonna take a little bit of an equity hit, but it's an opportunity for me to add. Again, you could do whatever you want. I'm not in charge of your money, but yeah, there's just a lot of things you got to consider. My ultimate line here though would be, again, you don't day trade your investments. That's just a terrible, terrible decision.
Yeah.
Did you guys already go over Nas and gold? We did go over gold. Nas we didn't really go over. We are kind of on crypto now, but we'll head over to that stuff in a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
Thank you for your value tonight. How should a swing trader approach their risk management when they know their hit rate from back testing? Should their profit target be below 10%? Uh, was so I mean, if you so first off, your hit rate from back testing doesn't mean anything. honestly, any information you get from backtesting doesn't mean anything. You should go get real market results. Don't back test. Go like back test to train your eye to understand what you need to understand and to like make sure you can like identify things. But when you're talking about like looking at like the money management and risk management aside, you can only base that off your actual results because again, backtesting you can very easily say, oh well, everything was a 1 to 5. The well, in reality, not everything is an actual 1 to 5. Sometimes you close stuff as like a 1.37 or like a 1 to like 1.17 or like there's a lot of variables when you're actually executing, and those are the numbers that matter. So if all you have is backtesting, then you need to go forward test and actually apply it over the course of 150, 250, 500 real trades. So you don't have enough data yet. Abel, here's a good question, bro. Let Eric know your opinion here. He says, when you invest in crypto assets, are you guys looking at it from a money return gain or holding something valuable? So I guess basically what he's asking is, are we looking at it as a store of value or are we looking at it as like an actual ROI, return on investment?
No, that is a good question. I'm personally looking at it from both. Obviously, especially when we're talking about Bitcoin, because I think Bitcoin might be the only one that might fall under that category of holding it just because of its potential value. Where Bitcoin, you just want to hold just because it is Bitcoin, right? There is only, so much in existence. But all the other cryptocurrencies, especially all these other altcoins, those are definitely more so plays on the potential of their value increasing over time, but also on just how much money you can make in such a short amount of time, especially if you're able to find some steals and some gems, some hidden gems that we like to call, hidden in the fifth, sixth, seventh page, right? So it's a little bit of both for me personally. I definitely understand the value of these assets, especially, long term, just holding a Bitcoin itself is super valuable. But I also know just the amount of money you can make on these things are absolutely life changing when you get into the right projects at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much on par with that. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. When I first got into the space, it was because again, I was trading, I was using TradingView and like I already knew what Bitcoin was. I'd looked into it previously, but like I had found it again because of TradingView and like I was definitely trading it. But once I learned about the halving, once I learned about then I went down like the whole rabbit hole of how financial systems work and Bitcoin actually really led me to fundamentals. 'Cause like I learned about Bitcoin's fundamentals and like why it was created. And then I learned about like how the actual monetary system works. So it's like I was exposed to the solution before I was exposed to the problem, which is dangerous because it was very easy to convince me. So I was like instantly hooked once I discovered what the halving was and all that fun stuff. So for me, it really is like a store of value. It really is like I'm holding on to something that will probably be more valuable after I die. Right? That's how I look at Bitcoin. Like a lot of people don't have that logic. A lot of people look at Bitcoin, they're like, oh, I'm gonna buy this and in 10 years I'm gonna be living on a yacht. And I'm like, that's you have the wrong idea. Like the Bitcoin, like again, like I think some of you guys know I call my ledger, my main ledger, my legacy ledger. And that's because like it's really what it is. Like I understand that digital currencies in our current market environment only are just beginning to maybe make sense. But when I look at the long term, I'm looking like 20, 30, 40 years. And I ask myself, okay, if I had kids now and my kids had kids, what would the world look like? And whether you want to believe it or not, technology is going to be a big part of that. So I look at it as something that I'm holding immensely valuable, immensely valuable. And maybe I'm right or wrong on that. Maybe it's not Bitcoin. Maybe it's something else. And that's a complete possibility. That's a risk that I'm taking. But I think it's a pretty safe risk. So for me, it's like I'm holding on to something more valuable than I could ever benefit from, which is a crazy I think a crazy concept to some people. But everybody talks about generational wealth, and like that's how I approach this. I approach it from a generational wealth. It's like I'm not going to benefit from the Bitcoin that I buy. It's like, but I'm gonna be the reason that somebody else does benefit from it. Just like there's people now, like there's like the people that you guys hate, you guys go, oh, these people inherited everything. It's like, okay, well, you may have not been that lucky, but it's like, are you going to create that luck for somebody else? So that's how I look at it. I look at it from a really, really long term, really like generational wealth beyond me type of thing. Which again, I might be in the 0.1% of people that do that, but yeah, man, that's where my head's at. So it's very hard to convince me otherwise.
Yeah. No, and I'm with you. And I mean, this is something that just me switching my mindset to looking at it like that has also allowed me to save up a lot more. Because I've probably lost so much money in crypto just from playing the short term outlook of things, more so trying to utilize it for my personal benefit instead of just holding it for the next 5-10 years and then really be able to leverage it for my own personal and my family's personal benefit, right? So me just changing the mindset and my approach as well as what really helped me out, just to continue to build my portfolio up. Like
Yeah,
you
man. And
got.
remember, family, if you ever want to make massive money, I'll give you guys one hint. This is whether you're trading, you're investing, whether you're opening up a business, whether you're investing in a stock, whatever it may be. Here's the secret. Ignore anybody's opinion that's over the age of like 22. And I don't mean like on the actual ROI of the investment, but like on the actual opinion of said item. Because I'm gonna be real with you. It's not when you're buying something, especially for the macro, you gotta ask yourself, okay, what would the kids that are between the ages of like 5 and like 17 think about this in 10 years? Like, are they currently being groomed or conditioned to accept this as something that they want? Because they're going to be the people spending the money in the future. It's not going to be the people that are 40, 50, 60. Yeah, they're a part of the market. But the truth is, like, if you ask somebody what they think of Bitcoin in 20, 30 years and they're 60, 70 years old, you may take in some of their wisdom, but to be honest with you, those people realistically are probably going to be dead. And this is just the truth. The same thing. When I'm 60 and you ask my opinion about something, take it with a grain of salt because I'm going to be dead. So my opinion really doesn't matter. Or it's really the opinion of the people that are going to be in the market. So you always look at the children because the children are going to be the future people that are driving the market. So if the children are going to be willing to accept it, and you could see that they're already kind of being groomed and like positioned for it by like early media and stuff like this, then it's very easy stuff to buy into. And that's why like again, digital currencies make sense because for me, like kids again are going to be built up in that world. They're going to be building like AR and VR, and they already live in worlds like Roblox and Minecraft that have in-game currencies. It's like this is it's all very natural to them. And again, the people that hate it are generally older that are from a more traditional system, which they will never live inside of the system that this is being built for anyway. So their opinions are relevant. Like people that say that NFTs are not the future and they're like 50 years old, to be fair, you're gonna be like 75 when these things are full on in. You're not the target market. So again, their opinion is unless they're that's just my opinion. It may sound bad, it may sound like doom and gloom, but I'm telling you, like if you apply that logic of the world is in the control of the kids have all the power. So, yeah, ask yourself again, will the people that are aged between 5 and 15 currently be willing to accept this in 10, 15, 20, 30 years? If the answer is yes, then you're on the right track.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of kids already, yeah, exactly. If you look at the percentage of people in crypto, a lot of them are on the younger side. So, then you should be bullish the space. Just the space. Doesn't you don't have to be again, you could say I hate this coin, I hate that coin, I don't like this, but there's something in the space that's gonna pop off.
yeah. No, that's a valid point. Let's see.
I'm telling you, bro, that's the same reason I'm bullish Tesla. Like y'all may not like it, but the younger generations like it.
Let's see. What do you think of prop firms like FTMO? I mean, we're supporters of prop firms, for sure. Let's see.
If you're profitable, you're profitable.
So just a question, but for the macro outlook, y'all both see the potential for more downside. I was really looking at 14K. I mean, we can't rule it off the table. I don't know if we'll go to 14K for Bitcoin. I do think we'll probably come below 19, under 19 into that 17, $18,000 level. And that's where I would start to assume demand starts to enter back into the markets. Um, But yeah, again, you just never know with the crypto market. Could it go technically speaking to 14? It's possible. Shoot, the market gonna do what it wants to do. Do I see it happening though? Probably not. I highly doubt it. But if I'm wrong, then I'll be wrong, and I'll just be buying even at 14K.
Yeah. Anything under 23 is a good price.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we say this all the time. Like, at 80K, are you going to care if you bought it at, 14 or 20? Some people say yes because they say that's the difference of, like, 15 to 20% more coin. And they're not wrong. They're statistically, again, you're right. Mathematically, you're right. And if that's your logic, then yeah, wait for the lowest price you possibly can wait for. But just make sure you're always watching. Make sure you're able to take advantage of those opportunities. Because usually when you get spikes like that, again, they only hold for like a day or so. So unless you're ready to push the button at any time, then it all depends. Some people prefer to buy every day, like me, and just accumulate long term, and then just benefit from the overall trend. And some people like to just sit on tons of cash, and once it hits that 15, they're just gonna go all in, and they're just happy with that. Like that's. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm with Abel. What we had on the chart there, we're pretty much in alignment with.
Yeah, let's see. I'm 24. I've been adding 700 euros every month for 3 years to my portfolio. I can't do that more. I live alone in a small home, so I can keep investing. I mean, 700 euros a month for 3 years is still not bad whatsoever. Like, you should honestly be doing pretty well if you were doing 700 a month
Yeah,
for
I
three
mean, the only
years.
thing that I would say about that is maybe, I mean, he's got 2 years, which he's probably buying at like market highs. So a good portion of that's probably down. But I mean, obviously, you have the long term in mind, bro. Like you're obviously playing the macro. So
Yeah.
I definitely don't worry. I mean, just keep at it, bro. I mean, you're in a better position than most people. Like most people are not even doing anything near that. So yeah, you're already on the right path if you're looking for the macro. My portfolio is 9% down now. Yeah, that's not bad at all. Yeah, that's I mean, that could be a lot worse, to be quite honest with you. Now we can go over more Forex pairs if you guys want. Can you guys save this? These are always saved. If you go onto our channel and you hit the live tab, you will see months worth of these calls. But welcome to the chat, early. We appreciate you. Um, yeah, but we can get back to Forex though. I mean, Abel's got gold up on the chart there. Is that what you're looking at, bro? 1848 buys.
Yeah, I'm seeing. I mean, because I don't want to be like I was considering looking for a short here on gold coming up, but it's tough trying to sell gold right now, especially the way that it's been acting. So I might just look for the continuation on gold to see if we can continue to go higher. So the areas that I'm interested for buys is probably below 1955 or even below 1945, right? So if price comes below these levels, that's where I will be looking for opportunities to go ahead and go long here on gold. And this is a 15-minute time frame, guys. So this could happen. It could happen overnight. It could happen tomorrow morning during New York session. But I definitely am a big fan of looking for continuations for right now, to see if we can just keep this momentum that we've been going. I think a big reason why this happened was just a big situation with the banking system. And I think that it's still so early on with the issues that could continue to come from that I think gold is just the most attractive thing to be in right now, in my opinion. So yeah, I'll be looking for continuations, but I will need to see below 1955 or 1945 for some longs. Let's see. Can you look at AUD USD? Of course you can. Let's take a look at Aussie. And for anybody that is interested, family, about the cryptocurrency bootcamp, again, it's a 10-day bootcamp, right? We're going to be together for 2 weeks straight, Monday through Friday for 2 weeks. It's going to be off the chain. I almost can guarantee you that you guys will learn more about the crypto space in just this one bootcamp than you guys will ever even imagine. So if you guys do want access to that, go ahead and register. Spots are filling up very, very quickly, right? There's only a certain amount of spots open. So go ahead and lock that in. The link is in the chat. So go get that, family. But besides that, let's go see what we got here for AUD USD. So overall, AUD USD has been very interesting, right? But we did actually just start to hit into a nice little liquidity pocket itself. Now, could this little bounce hold? Potentially. I don't know if it's going to or not. Right. If I look at what I think the dollar is going to do overall, just seeing my perspective, then I think AUD USD itself could be looking prime. Um, let's see, what are we even looking at right here? Let me see what we got here, guys. All right, if I'm looking for anything, I mean, we have been seeing this little bearishness, but we did just hit up in here. I'll probably just look for continuations. But if I'm looking for continuations, we did just sweep these highs right here, right? This could be a very interesting level right where we're currently at. All right, retesting back up into this range right here, into this level. Price could very well actually fall from these levels right here, right? So that's a potential play. I will be probably looking to see how we play off of this down into these lows, because I don't know if we're gonna go long term bearish. I don't think we're gonna go long term bearish AUD USD, but you know, at the very least, this could be a nice opportunity for us to look at going into tonight. Is a potential continuation off of these highs right here. You know, pretty much just playing off of these, you know, this level of supply up here at these highs. So that's the potential there. That's something that you can consider. Let me go to lower time frame, see what we got here. So we did get a very strong reaction here on the 1 hour as well. So yeah, I mean, there is a potential for this thing to actually go ahead and start to roll over to the downside here from these levels, guys. So if anybody's interested in something like that, you know, that could be a potential play here. All right, let me see. Yeah, I got a crying baby on the background. Skags, if you don't mind. Skags, if you don't mind, bro, can you take over the screen share so I get this girl down real quick?
Yeah, I got you, bro. I think Eric wanted me to take a look at silver, so I was actually just doing that while Abel was talking. Matthias, do you think Intel is undervalued right now? To be honest, I would have to take a look specifically at some stuff with that. I would say most stocks are probably undervalued in the long term, though. But let me see, taking a look at silver for Eric. There's just a few things I was looking at, Eric. Obviously, you know, the wipe of the range over here is our most recent liquidity grab. Obviously marked up the accumulation, the reaccumulation. The real question is like, does this reaccumulation get wiped before we continue higher now that we took liquidity? So it's like this reaccumulation has already kind of done its job. It already wiped the liquidity here. Is this going to spill over before it continues? Or is this going to kind of continue and then, you know, come for like areas like this first? So that would be like my question. Based off the reaction up here, I do want to assume that probably does want to take out the reaccumulation because there wasn't much buying effort when we kind of broke above here. But I would say we probably do a retest up here. I don't think this is like the high. I do think that we probably push up one more time. So I kind of refine this down. The only thing we can really go off of is like a 15-minute candle that's playing inside of this like kind of, you know, supply area over here. I'll have to zoom way back out, but basically we're looking at, you know, the top of this candle as liquidity. Obviously, there's a lot of imbalance and inefficiency up here, so it's gonna have to be do or die right off this level. But yeah, that's what I'd be looking at is, you know, maybe the same thing that he was looking at on gold, where, you know, we come down, spike some liquidity, eventually kind of come up here, and then we can play back below the reaccum. So that would be like kind of the idea that I'm looking at as a possibility. Again, though, I'm not going to really be playing early week. So again, this would have to set up, you know, post Wednesday really, and then we could look at like something like this. Yeah, that's what I would be taking a look at. And who knows, maybe we never even come up and test this candle. Maybe this is all we really did need. There's the possibility of that, but I wouldn't be going short without some sort of retest or additional better premium pricing. So that's what I see on silver, bro. Let's see. How long should a trader be in the data collection phase for? Always. You should always be collecting data. You should never not be collecting data. Test, tweak, repeat. Test, tweak, repeat. Test, tweak, repeat. Over and over and over. Trade live, which is testing, right? You're always testing your strategy. You're always trading. You're always collecting data. You look at that data, you tweak it, you repeat over and over and over, year after year after year, until you either become successful or give up. I'm 19, trading for 2, 3 years, and have a supply demand liquidity market structure. Yeah, then just keep test tweaking, repeating. Remember, stuff that I'm doing this year, I wasn't doing 2 years ago. I wasn't doing 4 years ago. I wasn't doing 7 years ago. I asked the same question, Abel. Would you love to hear your thoughts? What are the things you see in common from all the profitable traders you've been around who've been doing it for years? Huh. So I can only comment on the profitable traders that I personally know, which are probably not the same people you guys see on social media. Top traits though that are in top traits. So what it really comes down to, I would say, is one, confidence to push the button, right? Because most people, their best trades they never execute on. So confidence to push the button is huge, right? Which really comes down to like your mental fortitude and your psychology at the end of the day, right? Being able to take multiple losses in a row and still go full confident into the next position is a winning trader's trait. Most people, when they get mentally beat, is when they want to, they start to question themselves, and that's when a trade setup works, and this and that. Two would be like strict money management plans. They understand that the chart work is not everything. They understand that the account balances are everything. The risk management is everything. The probability management is everything. The scaling out of profits is everything. That withdrawing is everything. That compounding is a myth to some degree. That it's better to compound the bank account than it is to trade the trading account. So yeah, strict money management that goes beyond just stop loss and TP, right? That's where most people end. They're like, I have a stop loss, I have a take profit, I have a risk to reward ratio, and that's it. And that's where the risk management plan ends. That's just the beginning. There's so many other things. There's partialing out. There's hedging positions. There's a few more things to it. There's knowing when to stack and when to go more aggressive and this and that. So I would say, yeah, the confidence to push the button and money management are the top two things. If I had to give a third thing, it would be knowing when not to trade. It would be knowing when not to trade. Most of you, I could ask you guys to find me a trade on a pair, and you'll find me something immediately. Every time. Without fail. Without fail. And I've talked about this before with you guys. Is like some of you, every time you sit at a chart, you can find a position no matter what. There's always a buy, there's always a sell, there's always something you can take. You never look at a chart and you say, there's just nothing here. And if that's the case, if you've never said no to a trade or no to a pair, then you're over trading, you're forcing stuff, and you have this ego that you can always find something always, and that you're just the best. So a lot of times when people always have something and they never just say, yeah, this is ugly as all hell, and there's just no trade here. If you're not saying that at least 4 or 5 times a week, you're probably not a profitable trader. You're probably over trading. And you guys hear me say that all the time. You guys see me to look at something, I'm like, yeah, nah, we're just not gonna look at this. It just looks terrible. So yeah, that would be my third thing, is that the more trades you can actually say no to. Too many of y'all take everything, every final thing. You should have confidence, but you should also know when to say no. Is a healthy balance. Would I say exits are more important than entries? No, they're equally important. One is not more important than the other. You need both. Doesn't matter. You can't just have one. You can't just have good entries. If you don't have good exits, the entry doesn't mean shit. And your exit means nothing if your entry is trash. So it's like it's an equal balance of both. You can't. There's no there's no world where one is better than the other. You absolutely need both. Absolutely need both. 20 pips savage, my guy. Appreciate you for $3. Thank you for sharing your wealth equals knowledge. We appreciate you, my guy. We appreciate you. We take a look at NASDAQ? Yeah, we take a look at NASDAQ. Absolutely. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. So NASDAQ, I am also in buys on. Unfortunately, this never really pulled back enough for me to add on to my buys, but we do have, again, more buys here at the 11,750 area, which really wasn't an area that I wanted to buy off of, but we ended up doing it based off some stuff that we saw, and just the fact it was lagging behind some other stuff. Again, I'm still bullish on this. Again, I know again that the Bears always get happy every time something happens, but what I'm really looking at here is this is the most recent liquidity grab that happened in the market. All right, we had these lows kind of built up here. We swept them really nice. Great demand came off of this, right? Lots of buying activity, right? Clearly buyers are in control from this day. I don't know what anybody that was shorting after this point was thinking. Again, maybe they don't use volume. That's cool. But yeah, we're still looking at buys on this. Ultimately, I'm still looking at this coming up to 13.5. That is my next target. However, I will say, obviously, this has been on a little bit of a run. If I had to get involved into this market now, again, like most things that we went over on the call, I'm not really a buyer up here, right? I'm probably not going to be a buyer again until we take out this low. Again, I just don't trust, this. And that doesn't mean that, again, we won't do something like this. Maybe we do. Again, I'm positioned for that. So ultimately, yeah, that's what I want to see. But if I was going to give you like a full path for this, and you could figure out how you want to take advantage of it, is we're probably going to come take out this candle. So this is where I'd be looking at targeting still. Obviously, we're looking at 13.5, but this is the next closer level. Because there's nothing inside of here that's going to stop us. That's for damn sure. Yeah, so we're destined for this. Yeah, I mean in the macro, again, I'm not a buyer up here, so you're probably gonna have to deal with the fact that it's gonna do something like this. And then who knows? I'm not gonna draw every little stupid wave it does. I don't really care how it gets to where it gets to, but I'd be looking at something like this. Easy continuations. This is probably gonna compress. I wouldn't doubt that this does exactly what gold does, where it just kind of compresses inside of here like a piece of shit until it just eventually spikes up into these higher levels. So yeah, I would remain bullish on this. Again, though, you're late to the game up here. You're late to the game. If you really want to get in a nice buy, if you really want to trade for like the longer term, you want to get in below the 12,188s. And then even if you want to refine that down a little bit more, ideally, you probably want to look at like even below this demand. So you probably want to look at like this area and wait for a reaction off of there to continue buying. But yeah, that's what I would look at. Again, though, a lot of this stuff doesn't interest me early week. I don't like anything early week, guys. I want to wait till after the news. You had a really nice week last week. That momentum's likely to continue, and I just don't think any of the action up here, especially on a Sunday, is stuff that I want to look at. It's crazy that you mentioned that because that's something that I feel I've made a lot of progress with, just holding off and waiting more. Yeah, man, you have to learn how to say no to a trade. I'm telling you, if you guys are not saying no to trades, you're vastly messing up. Let me see. Best prop firm for swing trading. Um, Probably an FTMO swing account. If you really want like, again, like it's difficult to compete with FTMO's longevity in the market. Um, any prop firm that allows swing trading is gonna be fine. They're mostly all the same. They're all gonna be between 1 and 30, 1 to 50 leverage. They're all gonna allow you to hold over the weekend. They're all gonna be relatively the same payouts. They're all relatively the same. You might as well just go with the most reputable one, which is gonna be FTMO or some people like MFF. How do EA buys look to you? I do not trade EA, but I will take a look. First question, do we sweep this? We didn't. We didn't. Some selling did come in. It might be a little early, though. These buyers look weak as all hell, though. Bro, to be honest with you, I think you might be a little early. Yeah, I think you might be a little early. This is not a bad hour of candles. I mean, if you're already in, just remove your risk. Like, I wouldn't exit because of this, but for me, man, like, when I look at what's happening here, and I'm gonna just draw this in like a super basic way, right? But again, like, I love when wicks fill, but I love when wicks actually fill, meaning that they actually break below. If this had broken below and created a stronger low, and we've seen some buying volume come in, I probably wouldn't be saying what I'm saying. But you're running like this quote unquote support area, and then you're just running consistent lower highs into them. What probably happens here is you probably spike up, give a little like false kind of breakout kind of nonsense, and then it probably ends up just taking out this level anyway. So I probably would not be looking at buys. For me, I'd be looking at buys more so in like this area, and that would probably give you a higher probability. So yeah, I would be looking at something like this if I was gonna continue to buy this. And then even this might be like a dream for the long term. You might only want something like this out of this. But ideally, you can maybe again still argue that this high needs to be taken. So you could possibly stretch that again through management, but I would look at something like this for now. I just don't think I trust what I currently see, especially this all being like 1, 2 candles with not really any volume behind it. Again, this probably spikes up to give some hope, but ultimately just comes back down. So you might be a little early to that, but that's what I see. 158400. Is that what I was looking at? 185. Yeah, I mean that's not a bad area too, Jude. What are you looking at? Are you looking at this candle? No. Yeah, I mean that might work out too, Jude, to be honest with you. I mean anything on the wick fill, I just think if I was gonna refine it off the 2 hour, I'd probably play that candle. 4 hour, 1 hour. Yeah, I probably look 20 pips lower than you, but I see what you're looking at too. Buys to 160. Your target's 160.85. Yeah, so again, yeah, you're looking at like the same area I'm looking at for targets. I just think you're early to it. That's all. Let's see what else we got. Bro, I feel like this may seem like a dumb question, but do you have any advice, tips for me going to phase one for 50K? No, bro, follow your plan. Bro, Eric, we both know you know what you're doing. All right, just go do it, bro. Just go do it. My advice is just go do it. All right, stop playing around. Just do the things you know you have to do. Just trust yourself like you know you should, and just go and do it. And then if you have a question about something specific while you're going through it, let me know. But bro, you're at the point where like there's nothing that I'm gonna say that you haven't heard before, man. There's nothing that I'm gonna say. Like I have confidence in you, bro. So I can only hope that you have the same confidence in yourself. GJ, we went over. Uh, GJ, we went over. I'm looking at 161.80 if I'm going to take something this week. But besides from that, I'm not looking at anything else. UJ might be the last thing going over. Or actually, Abel, you back, bro? You there? Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure you were there. Let me see. UJ. Yeah, UJ, I probably just wouldn't. I just not gonna touch. Again, maybe like 133. I've retested 133. I'll take a look at. But the reason I say I'm not going to touch it is I just don't think it's going to come back up. And if it does come back up, I may not want to take it. So ideally, I want 133, but realistically, I won't trade it. How does the process of the Fed pivot affect the DXY during the different phases? I was bearish throughout the quantitative easing and waiting for next week news to make a decision. So again, a pivot from the Fed would imply not that they're just pausing rates, but that they intend to lower rates. That's what a pivot really would be. That's the probability of that's pretty low, right? Pausing is a pretty high probability. Pivoting is a pretty low, even from somebody like me that wants, ultimately to head towards a pivot. We're not at that point yet. There's no data to suggest we need CPI like in the 3% range to like begin to start playing that rumor. We're not there yet. Um, if they were to start pivoting, you would just get extreme dollar weakness. You just look at extreme dollar weakness as the Fed begins to lower rates, makes the dollar look less attractive, makes risk assets look a lot more attractive, things like crypto, stocks, et cetera, et cetera. Um, so yeah, that's how that would affect it. But again, I don't think we're headed towards that. We're just headed towards a pause, which gives the same results, just not in a super macro sense. Let's get the likes up. Yeah, if you guys got some values tonight, definitely throw the likes up. You're looking at the DXYs, the UTAD from a higher time frame. I'm looking at a redistribution. Yes. I mean, like, to be honest with you, like, I couldn't even tell you when I put these on my chart, bro. Like, this has been so long on my chart. It's like disgusting. So it's like, yeah, is this like a possible UTAD? Like, yeah, like it is. Like, again, I've been looking at this as a distribution for a very long time. It is possible this is like an extended UTAD. Sometimes you want the UTAD to be quick and like, painless, but sometimes you get this like extended UTAD. And again, maybe, yeah, maybe you're looking at something like this on the dollar all the way back down to 70s. It is a possibility. Again, I've talked about this on like EU. My EU buy targets are up at like 137. So I feel like the possibilities are there. Again, no, I'm not gonna get into like the crazy depths of like what could happen with that tonight. Again, you guys see the redistribution here, bro. I know you're knowledgeable enough to see what I'm looking at. So yeah, higher time frame UTAD redistribution, and yeah, all the way down to 70 we go. But yeah, family, I think that's all we got. Abel, you have anything you want to wrap up with, bro? You want to tell them about the crypto boot camp once more? I'll drop them the link because you guys definitely need to get your spots for that.
For sure. I mean, again, it is going to be a super volatile week, family. Keep in mind, please be aware of the news. We probably will be live here on YouTube as well for most of the major news releases, especially the FOMC, the Fed's fund rate, followed by the FOMC press conference will probably be live. I'm interested to see how the pound or how the Bank of England is actually going to do with their rates. So I'll probably be going live for their rates as well, depending on what time it is. And I just think it's going to be a very interesting week overall, man. So hopefully you guys are able to dominate this week, have a phenomenal trading week. I know we're definitely going to plan on having one. And, shout out to everybody that's a part of the premium family as well. We're going to plan on having a phenomenal week overall. Last week was a banger. And we plan on following it up again with this one, family. But family, we appreciate you guys for jumping on today. Thank you guys for taking time out of your guys' night. And if you guys have any questions, by all means, definitely make sure to reach out to us in the Discord. Free Discord. There is a public session, a free section for anybody that's not in the Discord just yet. And we'll definitely go ahead and answer any comments, questions, or concerns you guys may have. And one last thing, again, the Crypto Bootcamp family, please do not sleep on this. I really look at this crypto space right now pretty much like the gold rush back in the days, right? When they found out that gold was gold and everybody and their mama was going and trying to get, pieces of the gold rush. Well, we have the crypto rush, right? And it's the same as that concept, right? In the next 10, 15 years, anybody that's invested right now is going to be extremely grateful that they definitely were taking this space seriously. So family, the first thing you guys want to do is to get educated. All right, things are only getting crazier in this space right now. Things are only getting crazier in the world. The one thing that you can do is to protect yourself, get educated, and get your pockets right so that you can take care of your family the correct way. And crypto, I truly believe, is one of those ways that can help anybody out, right? So definitely go ahead and sign up, register for the boot camp. Again, spots are going pretty quickly, so do not wait till last minute. We are about 30 days away or so, a little bit. We're close to it. A little bit over 30 days away for that. Right, so please start locking up your spots. Don't wait till last minute, because if you try to come to us last minute, say, hey, bro, is there any spots available? It's probably going to be no. All right, so go lock that in, family. We appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for rocking with us tonight. And hopefully you guys have a phenomenal rest of your guys' day. But all right, family, appreciate y'all, love y'all, and we'll talk to you guys later.